Okay, so my healing journey. So my healing journey really started properly. I was mid-20s, and I went on holiday to a Greek island called Kos, and I came back paralyzed down my left side, and nobody knew what on earth was going on with me. And I cut my foot in the sea on the next to last day. And I think personally, it was some form of crustacean, or I got toxic poisoning, basically. That's what I think it is. I think it was Guillain-Barré. But that's just my self-diagnosis, because it was one of those illnesses. They thought I had MS because I had all the signs of MS. I had the lumbar puncture, and it wasn't. But what happened when I was hospitalized, I was in hospital for about 3 or 4 weeks, but my heart stopped. So it literally attacked everything. And then, budum, budum, the paddles. And I was on the ceiling looking down, and again, this observer, oh, that's interesting. And seeing the guy who come to visit me, who was a friend of my brother's, who kind of secretly fancied me, but anyway, that's another story. The shock on his face, like, what is happening? Only came with a bunch of grapes, Oh dear. Anyway, so that started my healing journey, because I knew that there was something that needed to be shifted, and I wanted to find an alternative. So I trained as a remedial masseuse. I don't like that word. I trained in remedial massage. So it wasn't just Swedish massage, basic massage. It was deep tissue, because that's what helped me start to mobilize, and time and rest. It was a complete and utter shutdown of my body. That's what happened to me. And one doctor, and he was absolutely right, said to me, you will be right in 7 years. 7 years? When you're in your 20s, that's like, what? And he was right, because your body repairs itself. But these illnesses, I always then had an interest in people that have illnesses that can't be explained, or things like fibromyalgia, like pain in the body, or rheumatoid arthritis. Like, why do they get it and not others? And it's not genetics. There's other factors. But a lot of it now, I know now, it's they're overloaded with stress, their nervous system, or like me, I basically had toxic shock, and my body just shut down. So that's why I started my healing journey. So I started with remedial massage, then I trained in the Reiki, and I weaved in, because a lot of people, when you're talking about healing, I just incorporated it at the end, and like, oh, can I just do this? Can I just put my hands on you and do this? And it was a nice tie-in with the remedial massage. That's how I did it. So I did that had my own business. Well, I worked part-time, and then I did that part-time, but earned more money doing that than I did anyway. Great. Until I had my daughter, and I had problems afterwards. Basically, I had a prolapse. So I couldn't no longer. That was my path gone. Even though I'd converted at home, I had a beautiful house, and we'd built this extension, and it was like a therapy suite. Never used it. Never actually used it. It's one of those. It wasn't my path. So that's how I started my healing journey. So I'm still Reiki trained, so I can still do that. And then I started looking into energy healing. Now that was different. So the Reiki energy comes through you, and then you lay your hands on people, or you can send it by distance, but you use symbols. You use symbols on your palm of your hand to activate it. That's probably the best way to describe it. And people feel it. And then energy healing, that's totally different. So the energy comes through you, but it's a different energy. And so I learned something called body balance activation. The lady came over from South Africa to train. And when you put your hands, you had to place them in certain areas, and we were talking about different parts of the body, not like arm, hand. We were talking about your energetic body. I'm like, what's your energetic, so we were talking about all these rings around you, and I was opening up then to a more spiritual type of healing. So the energy comes through and you place your hands in certain, according to the chart and according to what they need, because you ask them a series of questions to decide what they need. So it's a bespoke treatment. And then I noticed my hand was being moved. Like, who's moving my hand? What's going on? And then you start to get a bit sarcastic. You're like, oh, so I wasn't in the right place, was I? But who's moving my hand? And that's when you know you've got little helpers. And then I'm like, heck. So I did that for a while. Now, very powerful, because I was opening people up. As soon as I was doing it, I was open. My friend, she opened up psychically. She can now channel. She speaks to her guide all the time. She could never do any of that. I did it with it was actually one of my lodgers. I did it with him, and he went, is it normal to speak to your dead granddad when you do this? And I'm like, well, if that's what comes through, that's what comes through. So that was the first real, and that was only, I don't know, 5-7 years ago, into energy. Then I went on Star Magic Healing. Now he opened me up again, but I no longer do it. I'm grateful for the training. I spent a lot of money doing the training because I did the basic, and then I went on to be one of his advanced, and he promised the earth, he's one of these that, you'll be one of my practitioners, you'll be this, you'll be that, you'll be on the list. And never happened for all of us. He's just full of BS. And I really don't like people like that, when they promise stuff and you believe them because you think they're heart-led, and they're actually not. But again, a lot of people who open themselves up can open themselves up to the dark. And I know that's what's happened to him. So anyway, I did this Star Magic Healing, and it's all about the codes. But now we're into quantum field. Now we're into working with holograms. Now we're into galactics. Now we're into dragons. Now we're into different planetary forces. This was a whole new level. But again, I felt it. But I didn't like, because everything was coded. So he was like, oh yeah, you use this code for this and you use this code for that. And I'm like, but how do I know that code? I started to question, how do I know that code's right? Because he's telling me it's right, but I don't know it's right. And now I'm starting to feel like he's off with his energy. Something, no. And I've learned to trust my intuition. When my intuition just goes, be a bit more discerning. Something's off. Trust. And so I kind of came away from Star Magic. I liked the way it was an expensive lesson to learn about all the universes and everything else. But I liked the way it opened me up to not just the angelic realm and the archangels, all the other realms, and the higher councils and the galactic councils and all of this that I didn't know existed. So then it was my friend, actually, about 2 years ago. She said to me, I feel, this is the one that I opened up, I feel that you're going to do your own kind of healing. You're kind of going to do a mashup. It's going to be energy healing. You can send it by distance, but it's going to be a mashup of everything you've learned, because what you're bringing through is pure. It's from source, and you've got that connection, and you're bringing in all the light. And that's what you're doing. You're just bringing the light into people, and you're activating them. And that's true. So I now do that by distance. I don't have to sit with a person. I don't have to feel them. I don't have to put my hands on them. I don't even have to see a picture of them. I do if I don't know them, but if I just have a picture so I can just visual, right, okay, that's their name and boom. And I just sit there and it only takes about 10 minutes. And that's what I do. And it is so illuminating for them because they get messages or they feel things, but it's illuminating for me because there's normally a message with it. And I'll go, right, okay, this is what they said, or this is what I saw, blah, blah, blah. And it opens them up to the possibilities of connecting with the greater universe, you know, or their power within. So I'm very honored to be doing this, and it is sacred. In order to do this, I have to keep my energy up, but not just, oh, I have to be high vibe and have to be happy all the time. No, I have to be careful who I let in. I have to be careful. I have to protect my peace. I have to protect my vibration, and you know, because not everybody is of the highest vibe. Not everybody has the greatest of intentions. And the more I'm a beacon, the more I'm shining my light, I'm actually drawing people to me who actually want to dim my light. So people like me who do this kind of work normally can attract narcissists into their life, because a narcissist will come across as a very nice person. They'll mirror everything that you want in life and blah, blah, blah. And because I'm so open, and most empaths are so open, you'll tell them what you're going to do and what you want from life and and they'll just mirror it. And then the darkness comes in. And but once you know that, through experience, unfortunately, but once you do know that and you know it's part of it, you just learn to be more discerning. And surround yourself by people who are authentic, because that's the thing. Everyone's walking their own path, and they are where they are at. And it's not for me to try and raise them or to judge them. They are where they are at. But as long as they're authentic, that's all that matters.